Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I think it should come as no shock to anybody out there from the headline of this video out there. Hollywood being in shambles, according to an insider. Well, ladies and gentlemen, how could it not be? We have had a disastrous dumpster fire of a box office for the last couple of years. They put out garbage after garbage, movies and television shows going on non-existence and just non-stop when they were trying to build up the streaming wars, where they were plugging into a bunch of shows and a bunch of people that didn't belong in those jobs, writing a bunch of garbage nonsense that everybody despised and hated, and caused all of their streaming services to tank and go completely and totally the toilet while spending billions of dollars left and right. And they've done the exact same thing in the box office. It's just turned into an absolute disastrous dumpster fire. And we've heard even not too long ago from a report from the Hollywood Reporter how the WGA strikes have now backfired 1 year later. Now they're not worried about AI taking their jobs. They're worried about not finding a job at all, because guess what? They found the absolute worst possible time they could have to go on a strike, because the peak of the streaming era was over. Things were starting to collapse. Things were starting to fall down. All of the shows were falling flat, and literally nobody but Netflix is out there that is profitable in any way, shape, or form. So color us shocked right here, boys and girls, that someone as a Hollywood insider is alleging that it is in shambles. Things are terrible. Well, why wouldn't they be? You've ignored the fans, you've ignored the customer, you've ignored the consumer in every way, shape, or form. All of the people that actually enjoyed this stuff and showed up to buy all of your merchandise, which merchandise is what makes these franchises so successful in a lot of cases. It's the toys. And it's the box office. It's the ones that caused your fans are the ones that go out there and see movies multiple times, causing them to hit that box office $1 billion mark. Your fans are the ones that rewatch your television shows over and over again because they loved them so much. That's what gets you your watch hours. Just like that's what, box office and all of that other kind of stuff. Like, this is what happens when you ignore your fans. And you guys decide to go around with another agenda. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a whole bunch of juicy details from that Park Place, and we're going to check it all out and see what this industry insider has to say. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe if you have not already. We just crossed that 500 mark. We're finally getting back to monetization, and I could not do that without every single one of you. If you're on any of our other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Thank you, boys, and check out all the links down in the description. An alleged former actor who worked in Hollywood claims the entire industry is in shambles as jobs dry up and talent agencies fail to pay their clients on time. Boy, doesn't this sound familiar? Comic books went through the exact same thing, and still to this day, a lot of the artists complain about not getting paid on time. The writers complain about not getting paid on time, and all of the people that have the rights that actually created all of the original source material that they're feeding off of, oh yeah, they don't get the royalty checks on time either. Tell me again how well the American comic book industry is doing right now. As reported by novelist Brian Nelmer, alleged actor who works in Hollywood informed him that things are terrible. This actor stated, former actor here. Got a few friends in the industry, and they've been told explicitly that things are terrible. Hollywood is in shambles is a direct quote from my friend's manager. Big clients, very connected. And obviously we know that a lot of these guys from former insiders, just because they're not still working in the industry, we've all made friends at former jobs. We all stay in contact with, a lot of us stay in contact with people like that. Like, yeah, would this color us as a shock in any way, shape, or forms? No, whatsoever. We see the fact that right now, too, Hollywood. Look at Hollywood. They're not taking chances on new talent. Timothy Chalamet, great actor. He's in everything right now. Tom Holland, Zendaya. I mean, we've got so many of these actors that they're using over and over again for absolutely everything. So Hollywood means they're not taking chances, which means Hollywood is scared. They are trying to bet on sure things. And guess what? They don't have any sure things left anymore. He continued, my friend and co-star role on a major network television show that was canceled over a year ago, and yet he's yet to book another gig. His wife, a lot of big television credits, has been faring much better, so they're fine, but overall, it's not good. He explained that one of the major problems the industry faces now is contraction. Wonder why? Kind of like the rest of the economy. And that is forcing bigger named actors to compete for smaller roles. The insider shared, part of the problem is he's now competing on small parts with bigger name actors who normally would never audition for these roles, as they'd considered a step down. Can regress your career. But hey, if there's no job, if there's no work, if you got bills to pay, I mean, look at the Hollywood schedule for this year. Color us shocked that you shut down the entire economy for almost 2 years, and now you ain't got nothing to produce. And the stuff you did create during that time is absolute hot garbage, and nobody wants to watch it, nobody wants to see it, and nobody wants to look into it anymore at all. So, yeah, color us shocked that there's less jobs to go around now in an industry that literally builds itself on other people's disposable income in an economy where, guess what? How much disposable income you got right now? I mean, let's be honest about things. So, yeah, color me a shock that big-time actors are trying to go for things. He points to Michael Emerson's role as Wilzig in Fallout. Now he's constantly losing out to actors with bigger resumes. Now it's important to draw in viewers. Case in point, Michael Emerson had a small part in Fallout. I'm told I read you the book and you took your advice, when it's a role that really should be going to a much lesser known actor and is below Emerson's level, who's a bona fide television star at this stage in his career. True, maybe he was a Fallout fan. Maybe that's why he took the job. Maybe he was really interested by the character. Or maybe, just like everybody else, he's broke and needs money too. By the way, boys and girls, if you are watching this at the time we've already got monetizations, or if you're over on Rumble, but consider becoming a member. I'll check out all the links in the description down below. It really does help keep the lights on around here. As Andrea reported on March 22nd, the KMR talent agency, which has been grappling with talent payment breakdown, has suspended its franchise with SAG-AFTRA. This report comes after Deadline noted agency clients have been waiting for months to get their payments. Ooh, that never sounds good, does it? Andravia added, over the past week, we've learned of more KMR checks that have bounced, though at least one person saw their latest check clear. So it's not that they're not even paying them. It's that the checks that's sending them are no good. It's not even, hey, we don't have the money. It's, hey, we're sending you checks that you can't cash. Wow. KMR is not one of the big guns, but it is a well-known mid-level agency that's been around for almost 70 years with well over 1,000 clients. Not small potatoes. And when this happened, my friend began to panic and asked his manager if he should switch agencies. He's at a big one. And she once again reaffirmed the crisis by shooting that down immediately, telling him the last thing any actor should be doing right now is firing their agent. That's probably true as well. From there, the inserter pointed out the declining number of pilots being created for major television networks and cited an article from Leslie Goldberg at The Hollywood Reporter. This season, 5 broadcasters have so far ordered only 35 pilots combined. That's the lowest tally in at least a decade, down significantly from the pre-pandemic days where 60 was considered a record low. And yes, once again, everybody put this big bet on streaming because of the government lockdowns and thought that that was going to be able to keep them sustainable. But guess what? It's not for $10 a month. It's not even for $20 a month. That's why you see so many of these streaming services having ad tiers. Guess what? It's just like broadcast television all over again. You can't pay for $100 million or more, some cases $250 million Disney television show at $10 a pop on subscribers, especially when you ain't bringing them in, or if worse, you're bleeding them, or even worse, they're getting a discounted rate for their subscription because of whatever kind of nonsense deal you worked out. While sources say a handful of additional orders may still come, this year's 35 comedies and dramas are still down from last year's sum, which included 20 pilots that were carried from 2020 when the global production shutdown wiped out a pilot season. He told me this year the number of pilots is somewhere around 8 total. 8 total. That's insane. And shows like Halo are exactly what's done it to them. Paramount's on the cusp of getting sold for pennies on the dollar right now for what it should be worth. And of course, Script Doctor, who is a member of the Writers Guild of America, he's anonymous on the internet, but we hear his voice all the time. He talks to people all the time. He's on WW Pro's show and over on That Park Place all of the time, which shout out to That Park Place for this article. And he's been saying the exact same thing about the writers industry. They're clearing house. They're getting rid of all of the crap writers because they don't have a choice. There just ain't enough jobs to go around. So all of those diversity hires that they had, all of those people that they hired them based on their gender, women's studies courses and all of the rest of that nonsense they couldn't write and caused a lot of these problems. Well, guess what? You're all out by default. It's not because they're intentionally trying to clear out the woke or any of the rest of the cult garbage worshiping of the ideologues nonsense out there. No, it's simply because guess what? The money's finally run out because you, the fans, don't show up anymore because they've hurt you, and rightly so. They've damaged your brands, they damaged your characters, they damaged your lore, and then when you questioned it, when you asked about it, when you affirmed honest criticism at them, they attacked you. They came after you. They called you the worst names in the book, and they told you were stupid, and that you were crazy, and that you were the problem. Well, guess what, Hollywood? Who's got the problem now?